to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, welcome in. The Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Back again Tuesday, January 27th. Welcome into the show. More truth to talk about. More snow to talk about.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a pair of teams now destined for the Super Bowl in San Francisco. Drake May and the Patriots.
Goodness.
Doesn't really feel like they were down long enough. And they're back on top. The Patriots headed to the Super Bowl. And the Seattle Seahawks, Sam Darnold, got it done.
Just like everybody had at the beginning of the season.
I don't know if you saw the thing circling this morning. There's a graphic from before the season where every quarterback from every team was walking towards the giant Super Bowl trophy. It was an artistic a rendition. And the two quarterbacks closest to the Super Bowl at the very front of this graphic in September, Drake May and Sam Darnold standing next to each other.
What's ironic about that is you see that and you see it as like, oh, they were the closest. But really from the photograph, they were the furthest from. Like Mahomes was in the foreground, and
He was in the but the closest to the trophy.
Sure. But I'm just saying, like when they made it, they're like, just throw the.
We should have.
You look at everyone else around them. It's like, it's the Jets. It's like all the big.
They
teams,
were minimized.
It was Saquon Barkley. I think was the closest. The Super Bowl champ of this year, and they're way over there, teensy tiny.
Yeah, I mean we should have seen the whole Pope narrative coming.
Right?
I mean, this is the third time that when there's a new Pope, the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl.
And Minnesota officially made the wrong decision.
They officially
Yeah.
made the wrong decision. And everyone's, the great meme, the great 9 meme in the locker room. This is what you're stuck with now. And Sam Darnold, earned everybody's respect.
Yeah.
Because when the pressure was on, I mean, last year in the playoffs, he didn't produce. He had a terrible game. This year, the opposite.
Yeah, he just had one of the highest pass ratings ever in a conference championship game. Has played very well, looks the part, and he's doing this through an injury, so he's toughing it out as well. And now is the first quarterback to make a Super Bowl from his draft class that included Josh Allen and Lamar and Baker and Josh Rosen,
yeah. No, it's an incredible accomplishment. We'll talk about those games momentarily, but first. We didn't actually have the chance to make this announcement on the show yet, but I promise this will be the only time we talk about it because they're almost gone already. We had talked to the Foot Clan. We had told them we were working on some special fantasy footballers trading cards. We worked with Leaf to manufacture them, and we released them on Thursday. So I think after we had recorded the main show,
some dark day.
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. He's having major physical troubles because of these. But we released 1,000 limited edition sets that include they're all hand-signed autographs. They're pretty cool cards. We had talked about doing this for a while. We released 1,000 of them on Thursday. As of this moment of this recording, which is Monday, there are 368 sets remaining of the 1,000. So this will be the only time we mention it. Every set comes with all 4 cards. One of them will be a limited edition gold numbered version of the card. So if you want to be on the hunt for the...
Yeah, we're all waiting for it.
For the... I want to know who gets the number 55. Out of 249 golden triple auto. That's what I want to know.
There can be only one.
We didn't pull it. It's out there at random.
We did pull it for a minute. We were like, we got to hold on to that, right?
We wanted to see it, and then we're like, this is not fair. Yeah. Somebody has to be able to get this. But just go to shopballers.com if you want to get on that.
Or alternatively, if you want to do me a favor and not buy them, because I am sick of signing these.
Have we not had this conversation?
No, I don't think so. I
could sign a million things a day, and it would just be pleasant to me. Mike, how about you?
I wouldn't call it pleasant, but not a problem.
Like a smooth, cathartic.
Look,
I think I just get in the groove signing stuff.
My signature is awesome. You know, your guys are just squiggles. And mine takes a while, takes energy and effort.
Yeah.
It's a project.
Takes muscles in the hand.
Yeah, you are the one that's behind the most. And you're the one that takes the longest to sign anything.
I'm coming in early, staying late.
And I didn't know this was going to be a real roadblock for us.
But you're
the bottleneck.
You're a weird ambidextrous.
You're right. My strong hand is my right hand. My
okay.
sports and all
Problem
that.
solved.
But I write and eat with my left.
Problem solved. You're
my weak hand.
Yeah, it is.
I'm signing with my weak
strong hand. Like the hand and the arm that's getting all the like.
That's not our fault though. A man who understands that that's your weak hand doesn't have like a Massimo autograph that takes 50 years.
I'm building up strength. I've got the little grips I'm using at night.
It's good.
It says Jason Randall Moore, the host of the show, number 11.
Yeah.
No, he's working hard for it.
I'm ahead of Mike right now.
That is true.
I don't know if you were aware of that.
I was not.
He worked his way ahead all day long today. Shotballers.com. They'll final 368 sets available over there, and then they'll be gone. And Jason, you won't have to sign anymore. So
thanks.
Let's talk about those games. New England 10, Denver 7. Denver scored.
Yeah.
Denver scored 7 points on the second drive of the game. Great pass by Stidham. Seemed like they were on their way.
Great drive.
Yes. Had some third down conversions on that drive. Ends up, that's all the points you get. That's all the points they scored. They did not score again.
I kind of give the New England touchdown to Stidham.
Okay.
Because
actually, if they didn't blow the whistle, it definitely would have been directly a defensive touchdown.
And it was an incredibly boneheaded play of you're like, oh, after the second drive where it looked like, hey, Jay Stiddy, he's looking cool, composed. And then you have the turnover players where it was, this is a man who has not taken enough reps during the season for this moment. Clutches, keeps backing up,
Infinite backup.
And instead of just taking the easy thing, just curl up. Just get hit.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Punt the ball away,
Your
live
defense
to see another
is great.
day. Yeah.
The Patriots to that point have done nothing offensively. I don't even know if they had crossed the halfway point before that fumble happened.
He also could have just thrown it away like
12
times.
Yes. But I'm saying once he chose to pump and double clutch it because he wanted to extend the play. After that, you got to eat it. But he unfortunately made a terrible decision, and that was the game.
It does.
Yeah, because Winter descended in the second half of that game.
It really seems like, I know that the Broncos, and we talked about it before the weekend, like Bo Nix wasn't really the star of the Broncos. The defense is the star of the Broncos, and they should be able to get it done. But it does seem like with how close this game was, the poor weather conditions, the great defenses, if Bo Nix was there, they'd probably win.
I think so too. And I think, in the moment, I didn't like the decision to go for it on fourth down when you're up 7 points, when you have a chance to put points on the board with that defense at home with that crowd. But hindsight's 20/20.
How big is Stidham? I mean, I'm looking this up.
I believe
he's 6'3", 215. You needed a yard. Just QB sneak it. That's plenty big for a yard. I was team go for it. I thought the play call was where you're booting him out. It's a cut the field in half. I hate that. on fourth down.
Yeah, and they never got on the board again. The game turned into a snowball in the second half. It was crazy to see the time lapse from the first and second quarter to where we were in the fourth quarter.
Drake May
had another fresh snow dome battle on our hands this morning.
Drake May going to the Super Bowl with 86 yards, baby.
Passing yards.
That's fine. It's fine. It's football. It is. It's football. We have a difference of opinion on the snow game. I mean, some people like it, some people don't. It seems about 50-50.
47% of his passes completed for 86 yards.
Sometimes you win them dirty. Sometimes you don't. I mean, one of these teams was going to win with bad numbers. That's what was going to happen in this game. New England headed back to the Super Bowl. It seems like anybody that is a fan of any team that wins, doesn't want to be criticized in any way. New England, they haven't won a lot of games against good opponents, but they got
They're
through.
beating good defenses, and they're in the Super Bowl.
They're beating good defenses, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But I would say that they're very fairly the underdog of the Super Bowl.
yes, that is fine.
I mean, I think that
They're 4.5
the Seahawks
points,
are a more
dogs.
complete team.
Yes.
Vrabel's a great coach. He will have a game plan. They will not go in there and I don't think they're going to get completely boat race, but it's a repeat, right? We saw Seattle have a Super Bowl stolen from them by New England at the end on an interception. They get to repeat it in a couple of weeks. Seattle with a complete performance to stay ahead of Los Angeles, 31-27, not in the snow. Both quarterbacks played well. Really just came down to a couple of plays in this game. A fourth down stop around the goal line for the Rams, chance to go ahead. I was shocked that they didn't pull it off, to be honest, when they were down there, but the Seattle defense is outstanding. 4.5-point favorites in the Super Bowl. Seattle.
It's good. For as much fun as it would be to have Jarrett Stidham go into the Super Bowl, of the options, this is the game I think it's the game I wanted. So
Is
for me personally, it works.
Is Buffalo still in it, or
No, they lost.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're
That
allowed
sucks.
to win Super Bowls, so they just bowed out early.
Yeah. This should be fun. We got some coaching news. The Ravens hired Jesse Minter. We didn't get to talk about that on this show.
No,
I guess.
I don't think so.
The new head coach of the Ravens, former Chargers DC, Jesse Minter. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Steelers hired Mike McCarthy,
Oh, man. Oh, this is so good.
which is a Pittsburgh guy. He's a Pittsburgh guy.
He's a Pittsburgh guy. And
yeah.
it's so funny. I know it's been making the rounds on X, but if you look at Mike Tomlin and Mike McCarthy and John Harbaugh, they all are basically identical when it comes to their age, their seasons played, their win percentage, their times winning a division, their playoff appearances, their Super Bowls. They've all got one. And Mike McCarthy is universally laughed at. And the other guys are like,
Yeah.
these are great coaches.
Yeah, I'm probably
He's on his third job.
I'm embarrassingly not as anti-McCarthy in general.
I don't think
I thought he
am.
did a good job in Dallas. I do.
His offense was great. I mean, that was,
I thought he did a good job. He doesn't control Jerry Jones. There are certain organizations where, we just talked about this with Cleveland. Cleveland, you made an amazing point because we were saying nobody wants to go to Cleveland and take this job now, right? So nobody wants to go there. But they had Kevin Stefanski. But if Kevin Stefanski was on the open market and hadn't been their coach, he would pass on an interview.
right.
He would not
That's a funny thought experiment.
Yeah. He'd be like, well, I wouldn't go there.
He's like, no, I there's been some withdrawals of interviews.
Do they have regrets right now? Shoot. I mean, nobody wants
They
to.
don't care.
As a Cardinals fan,
The clowns running that show don't care.
it feels really great to have Cleveland exist.
It's
You know what I
helpful
mean? It's
for
like,
us.
yeah, it's like all the coaches aren't bowing out of our job only. They're also bowing out of the Cleveland job. That feels good.
So Mike McCarthy takes over in Pittsburgh.
Sure.
There you go. Maybe that means that Rodgers will come back and play one more year under his former coach. I don't know.
I thought they left on such bad terms back in Green Bay. I know, Andy, you
I
were
can't
saying that it was
remember.
reported that
I
this
thought
makes
they
it
were
more
okay.
likely that they come back, but I
think familiarity. I don't think Rodgers wants to go and deal with one more year for a head coach that's just like a random.
right.
I think so. Whatever that means. I don't know if they want him back. They shouldn't. He's not a Pro Bowler like Shador. I mean, you just,
Oh, man.
My God.
Oh, Shador Sanders.
what is the Pro Bowl, man?
The Pro Bowl is
this isn't-
EED.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
flag football now, right?
Which that's fine. No.
It's not. It's just
I'm saying it's fine to do whatever because no one really cares. I was hoping I would care about the flag football, but I still don't. I don't watch. It's just what is dead is other than contractually because these guys put it in their contract of like, hey, if you make the Pro Bowl, we'll give you $250,000. It means nothing. It means nothing. Like
you mean 1,400 passing yards and 7 passing touchdowns?
A 7 to 10 pass to or a touchdown to interception ratio. Yes, that is what I'm talking about. And like it was an accolade at one point. It no longer is. For those that don't know,
Shedeur was named as a replacement Pro Bowler, so he will be at the Pro Bowl.
Like the Snoop Huntley, that was fun to do the jokes, right? The first, you're like, hey, every time because you never talk about Snoop Huntley.
Well, because Snoop had 2 touchdowns and 3 picks. That was his total passing yardage.
Whenever his name came up, it'd be like, you got to do the bit. Like, oh, sweet. Okay, guys, that's Pro Bowler Snoop Huntley. Ha ha, we all chuckle.
Which now is the case for Shedeur.
And now it's just now we're done. The bit is dead.
Stefanski's only Pro Bowl quarterback in all of his years with the Browns was Shedeur Sanders.
What? I mean,
wow.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I mean, it's an insult to anyone making a Pro Bowl.
Yes.
He was objectively bad, and I wanted him to be good, but I mean, every metric you can look at.
Yeah, Shedeur had plays, and he had drives, and he had games that were okay. But in totality, how you would define
it's an all-star.
That's what I was going to say.
This is an NBA all-star.
Yeah, like Devin Booker's sitting here, can't get into one of these things, and Shedeur is an all-star. Mike McDaniel's named the offensive coordinator for the Chargers, and I am excited about that.
For fantasy football, loves it.
And Hampton, Herbert, Ladd, hopefully they could all get it going there. Jonathan Gannon, not our problem anymore. He's the Packers' problem, the new defensive coordinator in Green Bay.
Except you know it's going to work.
It'll work fine.
Because he's going to get the fire in their belly.
Well,
pew, pew, pew.
Is it like... I don't know when Parsons will be ready, but it's like it was Parsons.
They lost.
Parsons stays healthy. No one's fired from there.
Well, no, they lost Hafley to Miami to become the head coach.
But I'm saying
not fired. But
I'm saying like no matter who's coming into here, either Parsons is healthy or he's not.
Yep.
And if he's healthy, you're a great defensive coordinator.
Well, and he was in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think Jonathan
Gannon, they wanted him out.
Well, they wanted him out because Philadelphia has no patience or appreciation, but they went to the Super Bowl with him, is all I'm saying.
Yes.
And the players, to a man, everyone loves Jonathan Gannon. Like the actual players of the Cardinals, we didn't really love him, but he was beloved in the locker room.
Just like the new offensive coordinator of Detroit, the Blobfish.
Drew Petzing, yeah.
The Dolphins promoted Bobby Slowick to offensive coordinator.
Okay.
That one doesn't excite me at all. Quinn Ewers and Bobby Slowick, are we rebuilding in Miami? Feels that way.
You got to tear it down to build it back up.
I mean, this is like not good for Achane. Not good for Achane, man.
Slowick was there for...
It was Houston.
Yeah, but was that for Stroud's rookie year?
Yes. His rookie year, Slowick was all the rage. It was him and Ben Johnson were the 2 young, hot names.
Yes.
And then it all collapsed.
What a weird situation.
After that, and then Slowick went to, become...
Of Stroud looking like he's...
a dirty diaper.
Stroud's rookie year, you're like, here it is. This guy's going to be the next great quarterback. Slowick, here it is. The next great offensive mind. Hold on one more year. Let's run it back. Let's run it back, guys. And then it's just been bad. Like, what in the world happened there?
I do not know, but that is all we got by way of news this morning. We want to get into the truth, help your fantasy teams out as we look back on 2025. Take a break and jump right in.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Can't handle it. You can't even handle some of it. Jason.
Certainly not all of it.
We are back into the running back position today. If you wanted to hear the first and second part of the quarterback truth episodes, we did those on previous shows. You can just click back on those. We did the running back part 1. We're going to get kind of through the next group, which is kind of a lot of interesting names. Running back stayed healthy. We talked about that on the last episode. Relatively healthy. Had 17 different running backs. Top 1,000 yards rushing this season. That's the most since 2006. That's 20 years or 19 years. So we also had a lot of running back 2s that people picked late in drafts that ended up being like very valuable. Whether it was ETN, who had a really low draft spot. Jason, you were, pretty sure he was going to be the guy over Bigsby. They traded Bigsby, making it even more ETN's backfield. He was the running back 10 in fantasy finish, but drafted at 31. But like Javonte, Swift, Warren was one of those later round guys. Kenneth Gainwell, so like both the Steeler running backs. So a lot of these names we'll talk about on today's show. A lot of interesting running backs and what the truth is about them. I had somebody ask me the question, because we talked about Jeanty on the last show, and I just want to throw this out there real quick, but somebody had been just asking, like, is Jeanty, is that the top running back for you in Dynasty from last year's class? Is it still Jeanty to you?
Some of the injuries, I think, have forced it to be Jeanty. Like,
is it Jeanty over Hampton to you? With McDaniel coming in and the
I think Hampton
offensive line
close.
being healthy.
Those guys are very, very close. And then
he's over Harvey.
Henderson.
And Henderson's the other question, yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's still Jeanty.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one, because that is all the emotions of like the franchises have been, what the offensive line looks like, what the quarterback looks like.
It's like we don't have our 2026 rankings yet. I apologize. We should get on that. But it just real quick off the cuff, like, who would you take first in a redraft right now? Hampton or Ashton Jeanty? I would take Hampton. And in the world of running backs for Dynasty, I don't know if I feel like that makes a statement.
I don't know if push comes to shove, would be able to pull the trigger on Hampton over Jeanty. I think that's a really tough one. You're gonna have a new head coach, a new quarterback, in Las Vegas. We all saw kind of the transformation for New York this year, right? You get a new quarterback, invigorates the team. All of a sudden, Cam Scatterbo. By the way, he's in the conversation too. Not above those guys probably, but like he'll be back. I just think it's interesting how quick a franchise can change. We thought it might happen last year with Geno. Geno now has the worst storyline you've ever heard. Geno is now. You were so bad that when another team got rid of you, the team you went to gets the number 1 pick, and the team you left went to the Super Bowl. You get the 1 and maybe the 32.
Oh man,
that's how Geno was.
Oh,
and we thought, some people thought, I don't know if we thought it, but I think some people thought it wasn't much of a difference. Why'd you were going to pay Geno? He didn't want to stay. You went and you settled on Darnold. That's a big difference.
I mean, a lot of people thought this was a huge mistake for the Seahawks. I mean, you've got to really hand it to the Seahawks general manager.
Yeah.
I mean, the deftness, the shrewdness, the correctness of these transactions were amazing. I mean, they have built this
getting
team.
rid of Metcalf and having that be a net benefit for your team. Switching to Darnold.
Building the defense.
Yeah.
It's funny
holding Ken Walker back so strategically.
Yeah. So that in the playoffs you could unleash him once you tore Charbonnet's ACL.
Trading for Shaheed?
Yeah.
It is interesting, though, free agent spending this offseason. The number 1 most contracts in money given out, the New England Patriots. And the Seahawks were the number 4. So these two teams went out and spent some big money on free agency, and
it worked
lo
out.
and behold, it worked.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the truth. On the last episode, we talked about Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Bijan, Gibbs, Achane, Cook, Henry, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, and ETN, the aforementioned ETN. At number 11, Javonte Williams. I'm so just happy for Javonte Williams that we're having this conversation at this time of the show. Because the truth of Javonte Williams before this year,
thought it was never going to happen.
No, I mean, this was a ninth round pick in fantasy, RB39 off the board, 25 years old still.
I was going to say the age is what's shocking. I mean,
you know who could have used him?
With the Denver Broncos?
Denver Broncos.
Well, I mean, they had a bad beat with Dobbins. If you have Dobbins and Harvey, that's a solid combo.
25.7 years old, Jason. Consistency in the second half of 16, 11 in the first half. That's really where he shined.
Yeah, he was better in the first half. It was mostly touchdowns. Really, was the difference. He was
No CeeDee Lamb during that time.
Extremely
Couple
hot.
weeks.
The first half of their season on getting into the end zone. I believe in the first 8 weeks, he was basically on pace for 17 touchdowns. After that point, it was just goal line work that was missing, but he was pretty consistent for what he was. The question now becomes, is he a Cowboy? Are they going to commit to him going forward? He is young. He looked good. I'm confident that he will be back in a big part of their offense.
Well, it's the easiest path forward for them, a team that needs to rebuild the defense every which way and make sure that that's not the worst in history again.
Should.
Please don't.
But it really seemed like Rico would be back last year or for this past season. Well, he was coming off of 1,000 yards on the ground and would not be expensive, but they moved on.
Well,
they got even. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Javonte was the RB5 in the first 8 weeks of the season. You talked about it. He was good at getting into the end zone, very productive, really throughout the entire season. So it was impressive. He had 13% great games, so he wasn't, winning you weeks very often. But 56% good games, 19% bust games, pretty consistent. 1,200 yards rushing.
Yeah.
And he missed the final week of the year.
He just got his job done. However, 51 targets turning into 137 receiving yards is
not good.
That's impressive. That's
to be that low?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's willing to stand there and catch that thing behind the line of scrimmage. Fall forward. Yeah, it's funny. You do run. I mean, Chuba was the famous case last year, Chuba Hubbard.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, you are involved in the passing game, but you aren't
nothing done.
Doing much with it.
Cowboys with Javonte and George, going to be interesting how free agency shakes out in, what, month and a half or something?
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it.
Yep.
And the draft, I mean, we're looking at and I know this will get previewed on the Dynasty show that comes out on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Daniel Jeremiah, he had his first mock draft. And the first mock draft had 7 of 32 players that are fantasy relevant. So you're talking running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and quarterbacks.
If you play Dynasty, do not read Jeremiah Love's mock draft.
Daniel Jeremiah's, you mean?
Yeah.
Jeremiah Love. He wrote up his own mock draft. He actually went number 1.
Because the landing spots would make you puke.
No, it does feel like a defensive-heavy draft.
And specifically how his mock landed. If that were to happen in real life, you would be talking about a very
better have the 101
underwhelming rookie draft.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, some guys are going to emerge and outside the first round and all that stuff, but it was a little bit heavy on the defensive players, the offensive linemen. At number 12, Josh Jacobs, guys. Number 3 in consistency in the first half of the year. So finished at 12 overall, but number 3 in consistency in the first half, 10 in consistency overall, and 22nd in the second half of the season, dealt with the injury. Do you forgive – we know that Jacobs he didn't miss any time, right? He missed 1 game.
Yeah, he missed week
12. But he
12.
played through injury frequently, which kind of makes the consistency chart for him maybe a little more tricky.
It does make it a little bit more tricky. This was very injury related. We all knew it. We saw it on the field, and he had games. But the thing is these also hurt you in fantasy. I played him for some of these games where you're talking about, okay, he gets 22% of the snaps, 28% of the snaps, 39% of the snaps in 3 different games, that all in the second half of the year when he's because of these injuries, the knee issue that he was dealing with. It's really upsetting to me personally because you look at how good he was in the first half.
He was great.
And who does it remind you of who was so good in the first half and then kind of faltered down the stretch?
What, Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah. And those are my 2 guys.
Got to get hot at the right time.
I know, and I got cold at the right time.
What ended up happening?
I didn't win the championship. Mike did.
Yeah.
Josh.
20% great games, 67% good games. That's awesome. 20% bust games. Josh Jacobs last year, very similar numbers. A few less bust games playing through the injury this year. Definitely hurt people.
The truth for Josh Jacobs is he is a dominant force a core part of this offense. The fact that he did up until he got injured exactly what he was doing the year prior means I will be projecting him to do more great things next year. Injuries are just part of the game. He's a tough guy. He tried to play through it, and probably to his and his team's detriment.
Does that make him a tough guy?
Yeah.
If you try to play through injury, but you look terrible.
But you hurt your team?
Well, what's funny is he didn't.
Are you a tough guy?
Yeah, you are. That's the way the tough guys work. We don't care how it benefits or doesn't benefit you. It's just, did you do it?
I mean, there is no try.
No. I mean, that's what
only do, and he did not do.
It's like when Mac Jones, he skipped.
Oh my God,
he skipped that life-saving surgery because he didn't need it.
Talking toughness, you can't bring Mac Jones up because everyone else just looks like a coward
compared to him.
Compared to the greatness of Mac Jones.
Josh Jacobs finished at 10 in consistency, 12 overall. Jason, better or worse next year?
Better on the course of the season because of what happened at the end of the year. I'm going to say if he plays 17 games next year, he'll definitely be better than this season.
Well, we got to talk about Ashton Jeanty now. He managed, and I feel like this is an accomplishment. I really do.
It is.
To finish at 13 at the running back position for the team that had no quarterback play, worse than no quarterback, actively detrimental quarterback play,
right?
Who has no offensive line, who
Jacobs would call it tough.
Ends up with the
That's tough quarterback
number
play.
one. I mean, remember Jacobs had a really down year for this team, and everybody doubted him, and then he got paid by Green Bay and was great again. Jeanty was up against it, still ends up at 13. Now his consistency was 21, and that is much more indicative of how he felt to have him on your team. And it didn't really change. It wasn't like in the first half of the year he was 18 in consistency, 24 in the second half of the year. He definitely felt like a low-end RB2 or an RB3 more often than he felt like an RB1.
He hurt you a lot, and this wasn't due to injury. It was due to a doo-doo offense.
It was doo-doo.
It was due to the doo-doo.
It was a situation where every time you put him in your lineup, you could go out there and not receive 5 fantasy points. That was always in the range of outcomes.
I mean, there were games, I'm looking at this, 5.9, 6.3, 3.9, 6.4, 9.1, 4.3, 6.2.
Can't have that.
But then week 16, a crucial playoff game, number 1 overall in the week, in a
Against
matchup
Houston.
against Houston.
What?
And that's
and that was off of 2 games in a row where people were legitimately benching him.
Yeah.
Saying, like, toughest matchup that you could have, hasn't scored. Those 2 weeks in a row were basically a combined 10 fantasy points.
I would not have blamed anyone for doing it.
dead
and then
last.
he's the number 1.
Dead last in points scored, the Raiders were, and offensive line rank. The cool thing about Jeanty is that is within the realm of possibilities on the worst team in the worst situation. He's a breakaway guy. He's a home run hitter. He can go make that monstrous play and defy the odds of your team's momentum, and that's nice. I mean, I like that built into – I like 22-year-old running backs.
Sure.
Yeah, a young running back in the worst possible situation who finishes as the running back 13. You go, okay, well, next year – will they have the number 1 worst offensive line in the league? It's possible, but they did this year. Maybe they're the 25th worst, and that's a big upgrade for him. Same with the offense. It's like it feels like his floor. Honestly, it kind of reminds like you look at JSN and the situation that he was in. Bad quarterback play, but kind of had a surprising end to his rookie year, and then the situation just got better. I think the situation can get to a place in this next offseason where Jeanty has that top 5 range of outcome at the position.
Well, didn't it take Jason 2 years?
Yeah.
This was Jeanty was the 6th most targets for a rookie over the last decade, so the targets really helped.
He is a good player. If you watch him play, like he's breaking tackles, he's doing incredible things, but the ADP, to be okay with the ADP where I think he's going to land, I would have to see big improvements in the line.
Well, he will be much lower than where he went this year. That is the comforting thing, no matter what. Like he's not going at RB6, do you think?
No, he won't, but I bet he goes in the second round.
Okay. Well, that'll be a fun discussion to have
Yeah.
in like 5 minutes whenever the new season starts. Jason, Saquon Barkley finished at 14. Consistency rank 16. Not exactly what you want from the 4th overall pick in the draft at the RB2, 12th in consistency in the first half, 20th in the second half, 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. 13% great games. Let me give you a reminder. Last year in Philadelphia, 44% great games. If you don't know what we're talking about, a great game for a fantasy running back, we define as more than, wait, where's the number? Is it 21? More than 21 fantasy points. Good is 12 or more. That means that Saquon was sitting at 50% good games.
Yeah, I mean,
last year it was 75%.
That's why there was, debate at the top of drafts this year whether Saquon, should be even the number one pick. But you're an older running back coming off of a massive workload. It's very, very difficult. I know.
Careful.
Yeah, this is a Christian McCaffrey reality. When you are close to 30 and you make a deep playoff run, Saquon went to the Super Bowl and had a ton of work on his body. It wasn't like he was bad this year or injured this year. It was just
appropriate variance.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
he was bad for the 4th overall pick.
Very bad.
Of course.
Very bad for that.
He was
was on the overreaction show. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do.
He was on the overreaction show, and the overreaction was don't react to his dominance and think that it's repeatable, because it's really not. And all the accolades and the possibilities for Christian McCaffrey, the fact that he bounced back this year. Show me 2 in a row. You know what I mean? Like, that's really hard to do. We don't really know what the variance numbers would have been for McCaffrey in those 3 other seasons because he was just out injured. But I don't, it's just hard. He had 1 touchdown inside the 5. Do you realize this?
That's
Saquon. It's not like they didn't want him to do all this stuff. It's just Lane Johnson got hurt and the offense was worse.
Well, and a lot of that was, last year there was, I think, like a home run play every single game.
Well, you're dead on the money, Mike. 17 20-plus yard runs last year. You know how many he had this year?
So he had 17?
17, so it's 1 per game.
Wow.
I mean, I doubt it was spread that way, but yeah.
Right.
Equivalent to 1 per game.
So what did he hit this year? I don't know, like 6?
Lower.
Oh. 4?
4.
Yeah.
You go from 17 to 4?
That'll hurt your efficiency and your numbers.
Jameis Winston, Riley Leonard, Jake Browning, Josh Johnson, Agumba Wale, Phil Maffa, Elijah Moore, Greg Dortch, A.J. Barner. All those names had as many rushing touchdowns inside the 5 as Saquon Barkley. So when you talk about things that
feels like malpractice.
Yeah, and I think obviously if he'd been injured and out for the year, that's worse than if he had just been the RB14 when you expected the RB2.
Mm-hmm.
But in some ways, it was really difficult for fantasy managers to manage this situation because you thought you had a game breaker, and instead you had more of a stabilizer.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it was on Saquon Barkley, not his fault necessarily, but it wasn't just the team and the situation around him. He had 13 carries inside the 5. He had 1 touchdown inside the 5. That's wild. That's a really bad success rate.
I forgot to compliment you. You're so smart that you didn't root for Denver.
Right.
I mean, that was genius.
Yep. I try to let everybody know how
genius of you not to root for
the world works.
Because they didn't win.
Right.
So you can't root for them.
No.
DeAndre Swift at 15. Wow, he's 27 years old now. DeAndre Swift came in at 15. Consistency was better than that. 12. First half, number 8. Second half, 17. 13% great. 56% good. 13% bust. It's kind of like saying he was Saquon this year. Him and Saquon were back to back, and he was more consistent than Saquon was, and that is speaking to our.
I mean, look, this is just DeAndre Swift being DeAndre Swift. It's what he has done every year of his career. He's been a running back 2 in fantasy. He's not a running back 1. He's not good enough, but he is not going to be, outside the he will not be a running back 2. It's just what he is. He's the running back 18, 19, 22, 23, 19, and 14 now.
Incredible.
But for where you drafted him, I mean, considering that he was almost the same outcome as Saquon Barkley, certainly was he would have been the better draft pick to make between the two guys. And I also think that as the season went along, I know that some of the consistency scores got worse for him. He had I think he had a game where he got banged up and missed some time in. But I feel like the team, the Bears, started figuring out how to use him a little bit better.
I think so, yeah.
And so it'll just be interesting. Is he under contract for next year?
Believe so.
I think he has a lifetimer.
The bag they gave him was very large. So this is his final year, and he's at $8.8 million for a cap.
Well,
yeah, I mean he'll be on the team.
I didn't talk.
And he will be a running back too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I will say this: Monangai looked really good. I don't think he's going to be everything there. Obviously, they're always going to have a compliment to him. We didn't talk about this one aspect that stood out to me in the Rams game, though. The future of because I think of Monangai and Swift, and then you think of Blake Corum and Kyron Williams, and I watched Blake Corum look like the better running back to me in that game, which he's done multiple times this year. I just don't know what the future of that backfield is going to look like.
Right. Yeah. Kyron's place in fantasy and his ADP.
Did you think Corum looked better?
Honestly, because of the numbers, I'm frequently I'm accrediting the production to the wrong guy. I still think that Kyron is overall the better player, but next year the debate will be fair of do you take a couple round discount because Corum will be
much behind.
He'll be he'll be a 7th or an 8th round pick, I would think, just based off of what happens to running backs. And it's like, where's Kyron? Is Kyron in the 3rd? So then that'll be a fun off-season discussion.
Yeah. I feel like there's more like tactician to Kyron, but there's some more explosiveness and burst to Corum at this point. Sorry. Yeah, that was a bit of a detour, but we didn't bring up the Corum thing from the game. Let's move forward here. We'll take a break, talk through a few more names before we let you go. I don't know if you guys got Super Bowl predictions yet. Are you both on the Seattle side?
We had Seattle winning coming into the playoffs this year.
Yeah, did anyone else in the Jeremy, you did?
Yes, sir.
All right. We win.
Who were they playing?
I had Seattle and Buffalo.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. No one had Patriots.
Oh, one of us did.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, buddy.
Josh has Patriots winning.
Oh, all right. So I guess we haven't won
against
yet, Mike.
Who was your?
I had the Bears.
And you guys had Jacksonville. Both of you?
Yep.
In your little
in our identical
codependent brackets.
Yeah. More correct brackets than yours.
Well said, Mike.
Thank you.
Is that true? Probably. If you
do you have Seattle in?
No.
Then you're out.
I had the Rams. All right. Back in a minute.
Oh, Foot Clan, the big game is almost here, and there is no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels real good to be right. Find your community on Prize Picks. With the new social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. You can copy lineups you like, use them as inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow Prize Picks partners like us and tail or fade our picks with just one click. We have loved using Prize Picks all year long. Some of these projections are so much fun to have some skin in the game and then maybe win some cashes. But I can tell you right now, when I'm playing and I'm putting in that completion percentage for a quarterback, every single throw is like, yes, no. It's a blast. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code FOOTBALLERS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code FOOTBALLERS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
No, if you ask the internet, Mike, I'm like anti-Seattle or something. I don't know what I said. Remember, I was anti-Patriots last week, and now I'm anti-Seattle. I don't know who I'm anti.
You're anti-everybody.
If I say,
which also means you're pro everybody.
Exactly. Exactly. It just depends what thing I say at what moment. I can tell you this: nobody has debated that I'm pro Cardinals.
Yes,
we all know where we stand there. Let's talk Jaylen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell. What in the world was the truth of the Steelers running back room this year? Because
the truth is it was a very good backfield. It just kind of shifted halfway through the year.
I mean, you look at the
Not
game
kind
log.
of. It shifted.
You look at the game log for these two players. Who would you have rather have?
Overall?
Overall. Because, I mean,
Warren.
Warren was a steal. He was brought up before the season. A favorite, Mike. I know you brought him up a lot. Gainwell undrafted completely. Gainwell, respectfully, was kind of this player that seemed like it's one of the reasons Jason liked Caleb.
Yeah.
Is because he didn't look at Gainwell as somebody that would be.
Well, he seemed redundant to Jaylen Warren. I mean, like, it's a similar skill set.
They ended up needing that redundancy.
Yeah, they did, but it's like, okay, common thought process would be we have you have if you want your Thunder and your Lightning, Caleb Johnson's the big guy who's going to move the pile, score some touchdowns, and then Warren is this in-between 20s. He's your pass catcher. And then and that's really how the season started. We had Aaron Rodgers just hoisting accolades on Jaylen Warren. Unfortunately, gets hurt in week 4. So he misses week 4, bounces back, has some really strong games, and then I don't know what happened in practice, or maybe just Kenneth Gainwell got really hot in week 11 against the Bengals, and they said, "Oh, perhaps we should do this more." Because from there on out, it was really Gainwell was the one you would rather have.
It was a combination of two things. It was Kenneth Gainwell was playing outstanding football, and he became maybe their best offensive weapon down the stretch. But the other part of it is this is Aaron Rodgers saying who he wants on the field to catch passes. He was literally their leading pass catcher on the season, and it wasn't even close. He had 73 receptions. DK Metcalf had 59. I mean, yeah, it was a gross offense altogether, but this was Aaron Rodgers wanting his check down out there. Now, it was a 1-year sub-$2 million deal. I don't know if Kenneth Gainwell is back here on this team. We don't know if Aaron Rodgers is back on the team.
They're paying Gainwell under $2 million.
Yeah.
And he's out there being your leading receiver.
Yes.
And the guy you give $1 bajillion to.
He had
Come on, man.
He had 6 top 12 weeks. Gainwell did.
He was
and
so
5
good down
of
the
them
stretch.
From week 11 on.
Yeah, I mean, he helped people win off of the waiver wires.
Kyle says he feels like an old school Theo Riddick. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Theo Riddick was, you remember the year with Stafford where he was just a pass catcher. 41% good games from Kenny G, 50% good games from Warren, only 6% great from Warren. He didn't have the explosive games. Gainwell did. Gainwell had 18% great games.
This one will also be interesting of what do this, because Warren's under contract.
He was voted the Steelers' most valuable player by the teammates. Do you realize that? It's been TJ Watt 5 of the last 6 years. He was elected by the teammates the most valuable player on the team.
I wonder if he will be back.
Yeah, without Tomlin and Rodgers, that would be.
It's going to be different.
Crazy.
I mean, that will all have to shake out, but Jaylen Warren I think Jaylen Warren will be very usable and interesting next year.
How about Caleb?
I mean, if Gainwell is gone, there is a chance, but I don't know how good the chance is.
Rico Dowdle at 17, Mike.
Yeah.
He was the beginning of the year of Mike from week 5 through 9 at least. Just a little temporary run here for Dowdle. He did end up over 1,000 again. 27 years older, and consistency of 24.
I'm sorry no one wants you, Rico.
And nobody does.
No, I'm sorry.
He really
I'm on your team.
Wasn't great from week 10 on.
No, he was not.
It all slowed down. I don't know if it was just the split and he didn't get going very often. I don't know if it was the matchups. Doesn't seem like they were that rough.
He also played through groin injuries.
Yes.
Remember?
He had the week where both groins.
Yes. It just
All 5 of them.
removed him. Just removed his groins.
He said he wants to leave
playing.
if he can't be the guy.
And
he wants to go somewhere and be the guy, and you're
leave.
not going to find any team to make you the guy.
Yeah, you think Rico, I mean, you do get a little bit of a picture of like maybe what happened in Dallas. Because maybe Dallas said, we do want you back, but we're going to put you in a committee. And maybe he said, I don't want to be in a committee.
Right.
And then he had to sign a committee contract in Carolina and then became the guy. And then
they put Javonte in a non-committee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. But just, he was lower in consistency than he was at Fantasy Finish because he had those 3 magma weeks, really, 5, 6, and 9. He has good games, 29%, 18% great, 35% bust. He was much better at home. 3 30-point games from week 5 through 9. It was insane. That was do you cash in on Rico? Do you not cash in on Rico in the trade market? And if you cashed in too early, you missed a couple big games, but then you probably could have cashed in from week 9.
Yeah, and you should have. He wasn't great down the stretch for fantasy or really in real life either. So going forward, I think that he's not going to get the contract he wants or the opportunity he wants. He's a good player. He can move the pile. He can break a tackle. But I don't think he's going to be very relevant for fantasy. So hopefully if you're in a dynasty league or anything future, you did cash in.
I don't think he's a Panther next year.
Probably not. More interesting names, though, guys. TreVeyon, Henderson, Rhamondre, Stevenson. TreVeyon's 23 years old. Rhamondre's 27. TreVeyon ended at 18, consistency rank of 28. Here's where you're going to get annoyed. Rhamondre was 25, consistency rank of 22. In the second half of the year, these two guys became the linchpins of the offense.
Yep.
And TreVeyon was a consistency of 9 in the second half, number 9, and Rhamondre number 11. And Rhamondre missed some time. That's when you saw those big weeks. TreVeyon had back-to-back running back 4 overall weeks. You know, let's
what
play,
a time to be alive.
Let's play the scenario out, though. Super Bowl champions, New England Patriots. What's the story for these two guys moving forward?
Dude,
it seems like they're both going to have a role.
They will both absolutely.
It's a little
have
Dobbins, RJ Harvey action.
Hated this past week. Henderson had, I believe, 4 snaps.
Yeah.
Boy, was that just...
He's too small for that weather.
Was that a playoff trust? Was that a snowball game thing?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I don't know how you can do playoff trust and
it wasn't just that
Rhamondre
game either, was it?
has been known for fumbling his entire career.
Well, but we've said this before. Like Rhamondre is known for doing the detailed work that gets a lot of praise. I mean, what was the snap count in the first playoff game for New England? Do you have that?
I'm gonna go try and pull it up.
Yeah, go take a look at it because I think it was mostly Rhamondre then too.
Yeah, it has.
So the playoff run has been. I'm just saying, like from a trust standpoint, it's been a lot of Rhamondre.
Yeah,
I
think
the playoffs have been Rhamondre.
What we're going to see going forward is going to be akin. We have previously and oftentimes talked about the Detroit Lions and how that David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs
I wondered
situation
if you bring that up. Yeah,
looks and that's how I project it for next year. I don't think Rhamondre is going anywhere or losing necessarily his role. But what we saw after Henderson had his breakout was that he's still clearly their more explosive back, and they're going to give both of these guys a ton of work. I think next year you have TreVeyon Henderson take more of the work than he had at the end of this last season, but not to the point where he's
in
the guy
Gibbs category.
Exactly.
Yeah, he wasn't drafted as highly as Gibbs was either, and doesn't have quite the, I would say, versatility that Gibbs has now. So he'll have to develop. Maybe the offseason will play a big role. I mean, both guys showed up,
and they're both going to be, Rhamondre's under contract. He's got a big boy contract, I think, for like the next 2 years, so he's not going anywhere. And Henderson obviously is the second round pick. Same.
Okay. Did you end up seeing what the?
Well, it's
pretty similar in
the week 1. The carries were similar. Rhamondre was much better.
Okay. Yeah, both of them are interesting. They have a role to play on the team. Sometimes that role, I feel like Rhamondre's role is less desirable for fantasy most often, and yet it's necessary for the team. And then so he just represents this like clog, stopping you from getting your sweet TreVeyon points. I'm sure we'll talk about it a lot. Both of these guys had their games this year. Is this true? Rhamondre led all running backs in yards per target this year. Crazy.
Because they kept scheming those where he's like open by 20 yards. Like, what is happening on this play?
Like a wheel route for Rhamondre, and he's doing it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at game logs. A 55-yard reception, a 23-yard reception, a 36-yard reception, a 23-yard reception.
He did it in the playoffs too. Which the week 1 again, he was 3 for 75.
Oh, I'm also the shame this week because I bet against Rhamondre.
Yeah.
Isn't that perfect?
It's the long con.
I got a few more names. I'm just going to give you the results. Brees was number 19, consistency rank at 27.
The Jets.
I mean, Brees is going to find a new home too.
Yeah.
So-
Someone will pay him, and he'll be good for
So well, you got
fantasy.
K-Dubs, you got Brees, you got ETN.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three big offseason, and Dowdle.
And Javonte.
And
Yeah,
Javonte.
and then down a tier, I'd put Javonte and Rico. Or
Yeah.
Javonte and then Rico.
RJ Harvey finished at 21, consistency of 21.
He is.
I'll tell you this. I
confusing.
don't think
He
he has top 12 career potential. That's my thought of RJ Harvey. I don't think we're ever going to see the perennial RB1 of him. He slots into me as like RB2 territory for his career, and I know that feels like it is. It's a statement of his entire career,
Right.
but it's like something about him just seems okay.
Yeah, his advanced analytics on the season, they're not great, and I think Dobbins is back.
Oh, Dobbins is definitely.
And-
Did you
and
see his quote?
Yes,
I'm a Bronco.
yeah.
They're thinking
Yeah.
2-3 year deal.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to be. This will be a 1-2 punch next year?
This will probably be one of the ones where it's like, hey, here you have the timeshare. RJ Harvey's being drafted in front of J.K. Dobbins. I'm probably going to take that J.K. Dobbins dip because people will be out.
Yeah, and I think
because
Harvey.
they want to be in on Harvey.
I think Harvey's a good pass catcher.
Yeah,
I think he's going to have that role of
Yeah.
the Gainwell role or the Swift, inconsistency. Here's some Harvey numbers for those already yelling at the podcast. Among 55 qualified running backs with
here you
80
go.
plus rush attempts. Go ahead. 51st in percentage of runs stuffed at the line. 52nd in percentage of runs of 10 plus yards. 49th in rush success rate, 48th in yards after contact per attempt. That's what I saw. I saw a guy pretty darn capable in the passing game, but not a consistent runner. Occasionally a really good runner, but not a consistent runner. Seahawks running backs are 22-23 on the season. Walker had 5 more fantasy points on the season than Charbonnet did. Consistency is even worse, 23 and 29. Walker at 29 in consistency. That felt right.
Walker had 5 more points with 7 fewer touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really argue with them
Nope.
when they're in the Super Bowl.
Nope. This is Rhamondre and TreVeyon to a degree.
But you also can't argue that Zach Charbonnet is healthy. He has a torn ACL. I mean, that they can't do it anymore. And what we've seen is Kenneth Walker taking over and being dominant. This is a situation where I am fascinated to see. I feel like the Seahawks have to bring Walker back now. They just have to. And they're going to have to actually give him the ball and make him the dude to start next season. I think he'll be extremely valuable for fantasy.
I wonder how much money he's going to want because obviously, depending on that, they could have the choice of bringing in an ETN to fill that role. They could, you know what I mean? Like if Walker, because of his age, is more expensive on the open market, and you've got those other 5 names I just mentioned, I just wouldn't be shocked if this general manager doesn't look at that aspect of it.
Oh, he'll definitely. I mean, the thing is when you win a Super Bowl, like
You
we've
always
seen
make
this,
the right move afterwards.
you always just pay afterwards. The guys that got you there, the Joe Flacco, won the Super Bowl, and it's just like, well, we got to keep it together. We got to pay these guys. I feel like sometimes you make mistakes when you win, and if they win, I fully expect them to give him a ton of money and bring him back.
I mean, even if you're Walker, just think about being a human being. You just if you went on a playoff run, you're getting all the work, so you're really happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
You're having success, and if you win a Super Bowl with that team, you're gonna want to re-sign.
Yeah.
With that team, but Kenneth Walker, go get that shmoney.
Oh, he will do that first.
Go
He will
get
get the money
the
first.
shmoney.
And if the money comes from Seattle, maybe that's where he's at. On Thursday, we'll talk about the truth of the wide receiver position, so we'll dig in there. And I think I get shamed on Thursday, too. Is that right, Al?
I think we got to figure it out.
That is correct.
What do you mean you got to figure it out?
Well, there's no game this week.
No, there's no game. But
Yeah,
I
but
mean, if
we're
anybody,
shaming him
if
this
anybody
week
gets
for sure.
shamed, it's me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jared
That's true.
Stidham. Thanks, Jarrett.
You have no one to blame but yourself.
That was a real Jason move, huh?
Yes, it was.
It was a real Tommy Trimble move.
Hey, I took a Stidham.
It was a real Cole
projection.
Kmet move.
Which one?
More than half an interception.
Yeah.
It worked.
I thought he could get up over one. I thought it was a shoe-in.
Did he only throw the one?
Yeah.
Like the real egregious one?
Yeah. The one at the very end?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought he could get over 174 combined rushing and passing, and I was a fool. All right, we got to go. This show is over. Shopballers.com if you want a final chance at those limited edition fantasy
For the
footballers
hobby.
cards, and we'll be back with another show on Thursday. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.